The next question is, how's the puppy? The Tudors wasn't worth, and I'm still learning. You can see that I haven't actually gone anywhere today. I'm sat in my living room. And the reason for that is I asked subscribers, I said I wanted to do a Q&A video when I got to 5,000 subscribers. And here we are, plus a bit more. I mean, it's just blown my mind. I asked people to send in questions and you did. I had so many emails. I was thrilled. I didn't think I'd get any. So I'm just going to go on and answer a few questions. So instead of mooching about somebody's house today or somewhere interesting, you can have a little mooch about my life. So this question was asked quite a lot of times, and it is, what is your real job? Because obviously, as much as I would love to do YouTube full time, that is not my reality. So my real job is quite complicated. I'm self-employed. I've been self-employed for 10 years. Before that, I was a teacher for many, many years, and unfortunately, same old, it just all got too much. I wasn't able to teach. It was just a lot of other jobs, it felt like, but it wasn't teaching. So I became self-employed. I became self-employed because I applied to go on the Great British Bake Off, which you may or may not have heard of, and I was actually chosen to be their standby contestant. I didn't actually get on, but I did 2 seasons where I was the standby. So I did the same as everybody else. I just didn't get the glory of being on the TV, unfortunately. And I'd found something I was quite good at. I was completely burning out with the teaching. So I started a little bakery from my house, and that grew into a shop. And so much has happened in 10 years. It would be a whole video in itself. And during the COVID pandemic, I just felt as if I wasn't doing enough for the local community. So I completely pivoted the business model. And where we are today is we run a very small community centre, we run a food bank, we run a pay as you can bakery. So that means that anybody can afford a treat. You don't have to have a ton of money, because I feel like for positive mental health, it's sometimes nice to have a little treat. So yeah, that's what I do in my day-to-day job. It is a lot. It is a 24/7 endeavour, and that's what I do. I don't know for how much longer, because times are tough right now. But yeah, 10 years, that's what I've been doing. So Anne asked me, how did you get into social history? I'm not sure it's something I ever really got into. It was just something that was always who I was. Even as a little girl, I was always really interested to listen to my grandparents and my aunts and uncles. Tell me a story about when you were little. And I've just always been very interested in people and what people do, and the history of the working classes. So that was even as I was that child that was always begging my parents to take me to Ironbridge or the Black Country Museum. I loved theme parks too, but I always wanted to go to kind of real life museums. And I even won a competition when I was about 11. Blue Peter were running a competition about write about your favourite museum. And I wrote about the York Castle Museum because I'd asked to go there for my birthday. And there was an exhibition at the time about how people lived. So I wrote about it. I wrote a little essay for Blue Peter, and I won the competition. So to this day, I've got a Blue Peter badge. I can't dig it out to find. I've got no idea. It's somewhere in the chaos of my life. But yeah, I've got a Blue Peter badge. So I've just always been really interested. And then when it came to picking universities, I was the first person in my family to go to university. And that felt like a really big deal. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I thought, you know what, you've always liked history, you've liked social history. So I found that they did a social history degree at Hull University. And that's where I went in 1998. Off I went, did my social history degree. It's kind of sad because I don't remember much of the degree, but I'll still always have the research skills, how to research things, how to get data, how to tell a story. So that's definitely what it taught me. And then after that, I went and did a PGCE, which is what you do in the UK to become a teacher. And then I taught history as well. So it's just always been a massive part of my life. Okay, so Peter asked me, why did you decide to do a YouTube channel? Do you know what? I'm gonna be completely honest. So I've got a 9-year-old nephew. He's 10 now, actually, and he said to me, Auntie Lucy, I bet you can't get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I just said, yeah, I can. And it started as a bet with my nephew, and it's just gotten a little bit out of control because once I started to do it, I just loved it. I love the community that's gathering here. It's just making me want to do it more and more and more. So the reason I started the YouTube channel was a bet with my nephew. The reason I'm still doing a YouTube channel is because I absolutely love being here and making the videos. Angela asked me, I'm really interested in researching my ancestors. What's the best place to start? Now, this is not an ad, but I truly believe the best place to start is to just get a subscription, try a freebie with one of the websites that you can use. My favourite one that I use in the UK is called Find My Past, and that's because you have access to newspapers, and newspapers are amazing sources of information. There's also ancestry.co.uk. There's loads of them, but I think they're the best place to start because they're really user friendly. You just pop in a name and a date of birth. You have to sift through because you might say that's not my family, but that's the first place where you can usually come across at least one person, and then that one person will lead on to others. If you don't want to pay out for one of those, because they are of course expensive, you can hit your local archive. So most libraries have a historical archive where you can go in and use the computers for free. This is in the UK, and you can use websites like Ancestry for free, usually at a library, so you can go and do that. If you want to go way, way back, you start to need to look at something called parish records, and they are records that were held by the church. But unfortunately, if you were female or poor, it's unlikely that your ancestors will be part of those records. So most people can get back to probably the mid 1700s on these websites. But if you want to start going back further than that, you have to start looking at parish records. You can visit the National Archives in London. You can visit the British Library, have lots of records as well. But definitely for me, the easiest way to start is just have a go on one of these websites. I always say sign up for the free trial. I always put a little note on my phone to remind me that, cancel it. See if you like it. And if you do like it, it will become a really beneficial resource to you. But just remember to cancel the free trial if you're not interested in it, because otherwise it becomes very expensive. And I would always advise to take the monthly subscriptions as well, rather than the yearly ones, because you might find everything you need in 3 months, and then what are you going to do for the rest of the time? So that's definitely my biggest tip about how to start researching your ancestors. So Paula has asked, why do you enjoy looking around houses so much, and what sort of a house do you live in? Good question. I don't know. I think I know a bit. My mum, sorry mum, because I know you're going to be watching. We used to go and look around a lot of houses when I was a kid. Mum just used to see houses in the paper and we'd go and have a little look. Little looky-loo, weren't necessarily buying. Definitely weren't buying. So I've just always had a real interest in behind closed doors. In the same manner as when I go to, if I go to a big stately home, I want to see the servants' quarters. I want to see the toilets. I'm not necessarily interested in the big galleries and the art, although I do love art. But I've just always been interested in behind closed doors of normal people's lives. And I don't think you can get a better look into that than going and having a look around somebody's house. Oh yeah, what kind of house do I live in? Nothing special. I live in what we call in the UK a 2 up, 2 down. Exactly what it says. 2 rooms downstairs, 2 rooms upstairs, and a bathroom. It's very little. Bijou. It was built in 1903, I think, so it's kind of Edwardian. But yeah, it's just a little terrace, 2 up, 2 down. A lot of people in the UK live in houses like this, and I'm very happy here because I have always wanted to live in a historical house, a historical working person's house. I don't own this house. One day. I love it here and I'm very happy with my little bijou terraced palace in Birmingham. The next question is Robert, and what is your dream destination to feature on the channel? It's quite, I love Japan. I've been very, very, very lucky to visit Japan 4 times now, and I have only scratched the surface of what that country offers. It's such a mysterious place. I would love to go and show Japan to you guys and to do it through the eyes of a social historian rather than a tourist. I would love to go to Australia. I've never been to Australia. Like, how? I would love to go to Australia. I would love to travel Route 66 I have wanderlust. I just love travelling. So I would happily, I'd go if somebody said there was something interesting down the road, I'd go. I'm going to Great Yarmouth on Monday. Great Yarmouth is a seaside town in the UK. I've never been before, and there's a galleon there at the moment, a Spanish galleon, and I want to go and see this galleon and see how the sailors lived on the ships. Very excited to go and do that. So I'm not saying I'm not choosy, but I find so many things I can find interesting things in quite mundane things. So yeah, it would be amazing to go over to Australia. I'm desperate to see these cave houses now in the opal mines. Oh my god. It would be really, to go to these big places, but I'm also really interested. There's a little needle museum down the road, a museum to needles. I've got to go and see it now. So I just find lots of things different, very interesting. But the dream destination really would be to take you all to Japan or to Australia or a bit of a road trip in the USA. But the day job, unfortunately, does not allow for such things at the moment, but you never know in the future. Next question is, what's coming up on the channel? Wow. I have 2 projects that are going to take me a long time. I have been, you do not know how excited. I've been gifted a diary from a merchant seaman from the 1940s who perished with his ship. And I'm doing research into that at the moment and making a video. That is going to take a long time. A subscriber to the channel has also gifted me the most incredible contemporary source about the assistance system in the 1960s and 70s. Again, it's going to take me a long time to go through it, but every minute I get now, I'm in this paperwork. It's absolutely incredible, and the fact that they've trusted me, who am I, to do it is unbelievable. So that's coming up. We've also got the video about toilets. Yes, it's coming. You have asked, and I will gift you the gift of the toilet. It's just taking a while because the next question is going to tell you why. Yeah, it's all just been a bit weird at the moment. And we've also got the galleon in Great Yarmouth, and I'm going to do a video about the working class holiday in the seaside and the kind of the growth of leisure in the UK when working class people got to go on holiday. Got a few little museums up my sleeve. It's all coming, so stay tuned. I am so thankful for you all. I really am. And I cannot believe I'm in a position where I get to do this. It's amazing. So thank you very much. There is a lot coming up. It's just taking a little bit more time than usual. The next question is, how's the puppy? Say hi, Rupert. He is fine. He's just having a little nap. He's been very good while I'm doing the video. But you are also the reason that things are going a little bit slower than they should be at the moment. But you'll be coming out with us all soon, won't you? Looking a little bit tired. He'll be coming out with us soon. There he goes. See you later, buddy. He's absolutely fine, and he is the best thing that has happened to me for a long time. Next question. Shocking. How old are you? Now, do you know, you never tell a woman they look tired and you never ask them how old they are. I couldn't give a damn. Actually, I don't care. I'm 44. I was 44 last week. Yes, I'm 44. I was born in 1980, the best year. Um, yeah, I don't know how I feel about being 44. I've just got to celebrate that. Hopefully, I'm at that stage in my life when I always feel like I haven't achieved enough. I think it's maybe called, it's not a midlife crisis because I don't have the cash to go around buying cars and stuff like that, whatever you do in a midlife crisis. But yeah, I do spend a lot of time worrying I haven't achieved enough at the moment, and that doctor time is ticking away. But yeah, I'm 44. I don't mind you asking how old I am. We've all got an age, haven't we? Why do we hide it? Human beings are strange. Age is a privilege, right? That's what we've got to think. Next question. Jones's dad, I think I've said that right, asked, will you be opening channel memberships? I had to Google what it was. So yeah, it looks like you can kind of set up memberships on your channel where people pay a small subscription to get bonus content. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. And this is where my kind of socialist thinking gets me into trouble, because YouTube's amazing. It's free. Anyone can access it. As long as you've got some sort of device, you can watch YouTube. Yes, you have to scroll through a couple of ads, but it's amazing. It's an amazing free resource, and I'm not sure how I feel about channel memberships, really, because I want everybody to be able to watch what I put out, and the same with all the content across the YouTube platform. So yeah, let me know in the comments. I don't know, is it a thing? Am I just stupid? Okay, we are down to the last question. Some of you are saying hurrah, and it's a good one, and it is, what is your favourite period in history and why? Do you know why I've left it till last? Because it's a hard one for me. When people say, would you like to go back in time? I'm not sure I would, because of the social progress that we have today. We have an indoor bathroom, we have a fridge where we can go and open the door and have whatever we like. We can pop down to Aldi and buy snacks. I'm not sure I'd cope, and I definitely don't think I'd cope with the smell. So we'll just, but favourites, they change. That's the answer to that. As a kid, it was all about the Tudors. Oh my God, what this girl didn't know about the Tudors wasn't worth. And I'm still learning, actually. I am still quite transfixed on that period. But from a social history perspective, it's a tough one because, like I said before, if you're a woman or if you're poor, nobody knows nada about you. And I don't want to leave people out. So it's difficult. There is more research coming out all the time about normal people during that period, but it's just tougher because the records weren't there. So, and I was a very, very, very big Henry VIII and his 6 wives fan. That's what got me into history. My mum used to watch these, number one, she used to read these books by, I think the author was called Jean Plaidy, and they were like historical romance of kind of Tudor period, and I got well into them. And then Henry VIII and his 6 wives, the films that were made in the 70s, obsessed. So it was always about the Tudors. Then I got very, very into the Reformation, particularly Charles II, and also our friends in France, Louis XIV, the Sun King. I was Marie Antoinette, I tell you. Obviously that's Louis XVI, but you know what I mean, that kind of period. I was into that. And then I got dead into World War One and World War Two. And that was great because I could really look like on the home fronts. I've been into the kind of striking in the 1980s. I've been into pop culture from the 60s. I mean, I like a lot of stuff. But yeah, my favourite time period, if I'm going to be completely honest, is probably always going to be the 16th century. But it's also one of the hardest to get. If you want to see some Tudor stuff, I'll do it. But I just feel like it's done to death a little bit. And there are people who are much better at talking about that time period than I'll ever be able to. I am way better at being able to talk about kind of people within living memory, maybe to the Victorians. I used to love the Victorians and I went off them a bit. I don't know why. But that's the thing, isn't it? That's what's beautiful about the human condition. We have the brain and we have the permission to be able to change what we like and what we don't like. And right now, I'm properly into mid-century, anything from the end of the Second World War up to the present day. Anyway, I think I have talked enough. I am sorry that this week's video is a little bit of a, I guess, is it a cop-out? I don't know. I just haven't had time to go anywhere good and it's doing my head in. I'm off to Great Yarmouth on Monday. That will be resolved. And the toilet one is also on the final edit. I'm just waiting for some copyright permission from photograph owners to be able to get that one out to you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every one of you and the community that's happening here at the moment, and your comments is just, it has made me have a little tear. I'm not gonna, in a beautiful way. Some of you that share your comments about your own experiences, and I actually print them out because that's contemporary evidence. You're all amazing, and thank you so much for watching. I feel so privileged to be in this position, and let's just keep pushing forward, doing more stuff together, and I really love having you with me. Until the next one, see you later.